Hey there, and welcome to round 5 of the Highway to the Zemus Zone 5 Red Moon Waning bracket. We have a match today between McBain and PlumeriaKnight for the opportunity to meet Rex Banner in the next round. McBain will certainly want to make it an all Simpsons matchup, but PlumeriaKnight will have other ideas. My name is Sheep Launcher. I'm here with our tracker, Darth Plagle, our restreamer, Ribbon Quest, and our co-commentator, Smapedy. And Smapedy, McBain is giving us a look at our starting character and our starting required bosses. We have a Dark Knight Cecil and a bunch of sparkles up there.
Catchphrase.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, we were discussing that beforehand about how I needed a catchphrase. So we're gonna workshop some things. Yeah, Dark Knight Cecil. Very interesting start. Obviously, we see a lot of Cecil being brought in over on the Blue Moon, but here on the Red Moon, where treasure isn't quite as easily accessible, we don't have guaranteed access to those high level holy swords, but still, someone you like to see in your corner. He can do a lot of things for you, especially with some cover strats when you're going down that hook route. I really like to see Cecil as a starter.
Yeah, and especially with all the boss spots required, fading ordeals, certainly not an option, especially with a starting Dark Knight. You want to upgrade him to a Paladin as quickly as possible. The Cecil does start C Neki, which means he could start with a Black Sword, which means he could actually be semi-effective early game.
Yeah, not only would he be able to do relatively decent damage, all things considered, but that Black Sword also has that chance to proc Swoon, and manipulating ATB bars, as our runners have demonstrated throughout this tournament, can really make that be significant in certain fights where that boss pit is missing.
And the bosses that our runners have to tangle with, not an easy one in the bunch. We'll certainly be looking for a rune axe or something, mute knife, to deal with those Magus Sisters. If they show up in a bad spot, it could be a really bad time. Wyvern, D-Lunars, Ogopogo, a lot of yikes in this list.
Yeah, there is not a lot of fun here. If I'm the runners, I'm hoping to run into some of these early in these easier to deal with spots. If there is a dearth of bosses early on in the seed, this could get really nasty later on, and our runners are probably going to be looking for ways to do early grinds to be able to tackle some of these challenges.
These runners have had pretty good runs through the Red Moon bracket, but unfortunately, one of their runs will come to an end today, while the other will go on to face Rex Banner in the 6th round, which starts to be a best of 3. But right now, it is best of 1, and it looks like we're underway. We're glad to have you with us.
Tella, interesting. We've got the Ordeals pair here.
Very much so, and a nice lunar staff to get Tella a little bit of magic ability. They'll certainly be looking for a better white base than that.
And we're seeing Antlion in Baron Castle. That kind of dilutes Baron Castle a little bit now that we know that one of those 3 bosses isn't required, but still 2 bosses to check there, 2 key items. Baron Castle remains a very popular spot to check on this box set.
Very much so, but not a lot to go on key item-wise, and McBain will go look for more characters. As a reminder, the free characters are on, the earned characters are off, so our runners will be able to get their party situation sorted quickly. McBain finds a Sid and a Yang. Kind of an interesting party dynamic early on, really crying out for some magic power.
Yeah, definitely. We got HP aplenty, so if we run into an early Dark Knight Cecil as a boss, should be able to survive that. But that's really all you can say for this team right now. And yeah, just a quick pointing out, as Kitty's pointing out in chat here, we do have a little bit of a desync between our runners here, McBain and PlumeriaKnight. So we're going to pause McBain's stream here for a second, see if we can get Plumeria resynced here, so that everything looks a little more what it should be in real time. Just to let everybody know, all of our runners are in a 10-minute delay here, so they have actually already started this race. So what we're going to do is just try to sync it up so that presentation-wise, it looks a little better for you, but not to worry. The runners are being tracked in real time, and we will have the proper results for you if they differ from what you see on screen.
Yeah, definitely. And this is kind of uh, uh, this looks a little wonky, but really we're just catching up to what is actually going on. We want to make the presentation as real to what is actually happening as possible. So we should be resynced here any moment now. And both runners have now gotten their slightly underwhelming characters. Young can be a force with levels and a decent claw. Sid will certainly help deal with some early game physical damage dealers, but certainly not a party that either runner is going to be completely happy with.
We did see an Earth Hammer for sale there in Mysidia, which would be a fun pickup for Sid. We don't really have any multi-target ability here, not in any significant way. So that is one way to sort of deal with multi-target threats here in the early game. It is extremely expensive, though, so I'm not picking it up quite yet. There's Rosa in the Watery Pass. There's a really solid character. Still lacking a little bit for damage, but you don't hate having her on your team.
Certainly not. And PlumeriaKnight in the back part of the Watery Pass found both a Dwarf Axe and a Gaia Drum. Gaia Drum will cast a nice Quake spell on, and that could be very useful, especially against some problematic early bosses. Oh, and there's an Elven Bow in the back of the Watery Pass as well. Rosa will certainly appreciate that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, not only is that going to help her magic ability, but it's got some nice typing. Especially against something like the Maga Sisters there, and with the right set of arrows, she can actually contribute to damage, especially if you find something like the Heroine Road.
That Dwarf Axe also means that we don't have a lack of anchor options, so that Sid will have low enough agility to be useful throughout the game, especially with the -5 agility that the Dwarf Axe provides, and Tella can also be an anchor if kept at low enough levels.
Not a hugely exciting Dempsey in there, but a couple of nice finds. I really like that Aegis Shield if we're going to have to rely on something like Cecil cover strats in the underground that can really help boost his defense. And Soma drops available as well. We've got Tella, that's going to let him cast Meteo. So if we need to activate the nuclear option against the threat, well, Tella has the ability to do that now.
PlumeriaKnight showing the rarely seen approach Rosa from the back strat. So taking the long trip all the way through the Watery Pass and then exiting out, that's really what Tella is there for in the early game, to cast exit. And Kane in Damsian, some more physical power for this party.
Yeah, and that's where that Dwarf Axe really comes into play here. One of Kane's biggest weaknesses is the difficulty with which it is getting him to be able to do damage from the back row. But that glitch does not stay in Red Moon. So as I was saying that phrase, I remembered what flag set we were on. So forget everything I just said. Dwarf Axe doesn't really benefit.
No, unless you keep it on him so that Kane can do damage from the back row. There will be some fights, maybe CPU or Maga Sisters in the wrong spot, where that will be helpful, but in most cases, if you find any kind of decent lands for Kane, Kane's better off jumping in those situations.
Yeah, answer a question in chat from Suki Baka. Does Cecil get exit with Paladin? He does indeed, which is significant in this party, except for the fact that Tella is there, so I'm going to stop myself again. Rosa does not learn exit except through a cutscene, but you got the exit man himself, Tella, if you want to keep him around.
Both runners checked the waterfall and found Dr. Luge there. It seems dangerous for Balnab to be exposed to that much water, but, what do I know?
I mean, I don't know anything about robot/golem construction, so I mean, he's the doctor. If he thinks it's okay to hang out there, then who am I to question him?
I think Volnab would need the biggest bowl of rice in order to make himself make himself functional again. And McBain gets the Baron key from the Antlion Cave after defeating Bahamut. PlumeriaKnight will follow soon after that. And Smithy, you were saying before, we know there's an Antlion in the front part of Baron, so only 2 unknown bosses, but still, that's 2 bosses to check. And it's got to be very enticing to our runners early.
Yeah, and almost more importantly, it's an excuse to stay on the overworld with a team that's not looking enormously powerful right now. The worst thing is, when you get a weak party and you're kind of forced to take that hook route without doing much, without being able to do much on the overworld and get a lot of experience. So, this is going to give them something to do, a little more experience to grab in Baron Castle, some potential loot there as well. So, that feels good when you're running this, that you're not going to be forced down that hook route at a less powerful state. Oh, hey, there's Wyvern. We found him.
Yeah, that's 1 required boss. We knew from that Sparkle we had a 3 in 5 chance. Kane able to get that Star Veil up, but we'll have to do a little bit more damage. And was that Tella dodging the negative?
That was indeed. Must be that Lunar Staff on him, giving him that wisdom bonus and letting him dodge. Great job, Tella.
PlumeriaKnight did check the boss on Hobbs, which McBain did not check. It was just a Dark Elf, and PlumeriaKnight says he can stay there.
Maria about to get the Blarg news here, but I think he has his Kane in the same position, so it should be quick enough to get that Star Veil up. And the King's giving us a Luke Key, not immediately useful, but something you'll definitely want to have. That Thunderclaw, very useful.
Yeah, the Luca Key takes on more significance in Red Moon. The Warp Glitch is off in these flags, so if you want the key item at the bottom of the sealed cave, you gotta go get it, and you gotta fight through a boss to get there.
Gugnir available in one of the Babel pots there, which is going to be a good weapon for Kane.
It is an atrocious Babel item shop. Only Ashura summons, which we've already found.
And we haven't been to Ordeals yet, but as of right now, no young summoner in sight.
PlumeriaKnight using the Flame Spear as an item, reflecting it off of Kane. A really heads-up play there.
That is so heads up. Just like, what a play.
You love to see it. Remembering that the Flame Spear can be used as an item, remembering to bounce it off himself, just a wonderful play there.
Yeah, it's these kind of flag sets here that we have on the Red Moon are always fascinating to watch, because you get to see runners really reach deep into their bag of tricks and pull out some game knowledge that you don't ordinarily see, and that's just always fun. We've got a second white mage here in the form of Quorum. And not interested, McBain says. I've already got Rosa.
And Tella. 2 better white mages.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trolling at this point. A nice Poison Claw pickup on Ordeals. Oh, and McBain breaking our hearts a little bit, using the Soma drop on Tella to give Tella 100 MP, so Tella can cast Meteor, instead of using it for its intended purpose, which is to give Kane MP.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, because then this kind of misses out McBain's chance to give the Phoenix augment to Kane, so that when he goes down... Oh, I'm sorry, wrong Final Fantasy IV. That's the wrong blue robe, too. Just the Water Hag, not the gauntlet that we're looking for.
Yeah, the good thing about Water Hag showing up in this spot, the only good thing is that maybe it's early enough in the seed that we need a motivational speech from Anna. Anna's going to give it to us. But yeah, Water Hag in this spot, you really don't want to see it. It's kind of a waste.
Indeed, much like X before her, Anna definitely going to give it to us. And down goes the Water Hag.
And Sella gets to pump his fist in celebration. PlumeriaKnight looking at Porum and replaces Cecil.
Interesting. So now we've had both of our runners replace Cecil, just in much different party compositions here. So PlumeriaKnight might be looking at the long term and thinking mage strats against Zeromus. Two white mages is far from the ideal setup for that, but if you're thinking you've got a low-powered seed, definitely a viable option.
Well, Ordeals coming up short on required bosses so far, but definitely has the potential for some bonus action. Demus contains a key item in these flags, and Demus is in the back attack spot.
Yeah, and that potential key item means there's still potential to stick around on the overworld a little bit longer, and you know, with as we mentioned, with the team as low powered as this, that can always be beneficial.
So both runners have Rosa and Sid and Kane and Tella. The difference is that McBain has a punch mage, while PlumeriaKnight has a second white mage. Both are going to need levels to really make full use of their capabilities, so both are going to need some help before heading down that hook route. PlumeriaKnight continuing to use that flame spear as an item. Kane too low level to contribute much in the way of fighting, and so even these low level fire spells more than the fight command is going to get.
Yep, optimizing every action here, make sure you get the most out of it, because yeah, this is not a fun fight to have to just kind of slog through.
McBain
is through.
Yep, and gets to watch Mist fall off the bridge, which meteorologically speaking is a little bit confusing.
It's extremely dense mist.
Yeah, must be heavy mist.
It's like some Silent Hill mist right there.
Made with heavy water.
Yeah, very heavy water. Just a ninja shirt. That's a zonk if there ever was.
Ooh, the ninja shirt hype. Ninja shirt best group in the Adamant Cup. Go ninja shirt, go ninja shirt, go. Leviathan.
There's a little bit of bias there.
No, I'm impartial, as I must be up here in the commentary booth. And Leviathan in the changing room, and McBain remembering he has a Thunderclaw, and that will help.
Yep, only 1,000 HP to chew through here, so nothing too terrible. And PlumeriaKnight is through his demist fight and is going to be going in to take on Leviathan here. And the discarded Cecil is going to get upgraded to a Paladin here on both sides.
Where he is. We know where he is. He's in the Tower of Wishes. And certainly on these flags where characters are retrievable, both of these runners have to think that if they see a Holy Sword somewhere, that Cecil's coming right back.
Oh yeah, and since Cecil is just going to automatically go back to level 1 after the job change, then that is a easy slingshot for him. So that option is still on the table.
And the other thing about the demist in the back attack spot is it's kind of an easy spot to forget to check later on, to check to see what Rydia's mom has. Certainly has never happened to me.
Nor me.
On stream. Never. But McBain heading back to City is going to make a character change now.
Yep, he says, give me the Paladin, and farewell to the Machinist.
Yeah, the engineer no longer has a use for him. So Sid is a much more useful character hiking up Ordeals, so McBain just stashed Cecil away until Cecil could actually be useful.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a strong play. Just, you know, a lot of times runners get so focused on, you know, what you have to do in the future, getting ready for the end game, what you want in the end, that you forget that you still have an early and a mid game to play through first. So might as well optimize things by keeping your strong characters in your party. You can always go get the characters that are going to shine in the late game later. So yeah, and it looks like PlumeriaKnight might be doing the exact same thing here.
Yeah, very smart play to, you know, you have this opportunity to kind of juggle your party around when you need it. And it's going to also favor Sid instead.
And I think we might be dumping Quorum as well. No, we're dumping Kane.
So Kane had his moment in the spotlight, vanquishing that Wyvern, but PlumeriaKnight says, I'd rather have somebody who doesn't need actual equipment to be effective.
And, you know, it's really fascinating having, you know, been a part of Free Enterprise for so many years at this point, just watching all the way the meta shifts around different characters when different flag sets become prominent. And, you know, seeing Kane go from one of the considered one of the game's powerhouses to really kind of falling into mediocrity as far as public opinion goes has been really interesting to watch.
Seems like a betrayal to me.
A little bit of one.
And PlumeriaKnight going to check what Rydia's mom has. See what she has going on. And meanwhile, McBain tromping through Evelyn Castle. Ooh, a pan from PlumeriaKnight. So a lot of stuff open once we get to the Underworld, but we still don't have a way there.
You gotta have to spam chat real quick. Yeah, pan. I love getting that early on before going into the Underworld. That just presents so much value to you. So good pickup there.
Have you noticed anything exciting so far in Evelyn Castle?
Nothing to write home about that I have seen, but we're about to get a high tier chest pull here, so this could be big.
Oh, Crystal.
You don't hate it, but it's not something you'd want to go out of your way for.
No, it will help with Cecil cover strats, and McBain immediately equips that Crystal Gauntlet. But yeah, definitely hoping for a crystal, a crystal sword, or a crystal, which would indicate that Ribbon Quest put the wrong flags in.
And now everybody is in critical HP. Cecil's in the back row. The Crystal Gauntlet, Aegis Shield. This is exactly where you want to be. This is going to trivialize a lot of encounters. Oh, Tella swinging a miss.
You tried.
I did, and I tried pronouncing names.
No, Tella tried. Tella tried his best, and he still failed. The lesson is, never try. Oh, but that stone cast really helped. That rune ring, I believe, on Tella, increasing Tella's ability to secure that stone cast, and that was too quick for me.
That was a Leviathan. This is not looking like a very great Evelyn Castle so far.
Leviathan would be good if we had a summoner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it'd be fantastic if we had a summoner.
So McBain
Here's our last fight.
Yeah. And it's an interesting place, Mapdy, and I'm wondering what you think about it, to do Evelyn Castle before taking on what's looking like a required Baron in some way.
Oh, it makes perfect sense to me. Like we've been mentioning, this is not a very high-powered party right now, and the potential for there to be a holy sword in here for Cecil to put his hands on, just is too much to pass up. If you're confident that you can get through these fights, and with Cecil cover strats you can, do it. You might as well. There's just too much potential to be left on the table here.
Oh, and McBain casting Ice 1 with Tella. Ice to meet you. And Kane finishing it off with the jump.
Oof. I mean, cool staff, but that's not what you want.
We already got a lunar staff. So, and McBain is going to finish off the castle here, at least hope to salvage something from the remaining untrapped chests.
Yeah, this has been one of the most disappointing Evelyn Castles I've seen in a while.
Yeah, hopefully McBain really thinking up the levels here, which will really help. But we'll see if either runner from this disappointing Evelyn Castle starts to feel a little bit behind. Maybe you wasted your time tromping around in the castle and your opponent didn't. Maybe that's in the back of your mind, and maybe that affects your play a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I would mull over. But you know, runners of this caliber, they've got to realize that Evelyn Castle represents so much potential power when you have a Cecil in play that it would be unlikely that their opponent wouldn't make that check. So I've got to think that McBain and PlumeriaKnight, this deep into the tournament, they know that they know each other, and they know that they're going to be going in there.
Tella coming through and actually hitting Cecil to get him out of charm status. Nice, nice play there. But this fight going a little bit sideways.
The good news there is Tella getting hit just enough to put him into critical state. So he's going to get covered by Cecil. We're going to get life potions on all of these characters. They're going to get raised into critical state. So this is going to very quickly be able to stabilize here for PlumeriaKnight.
Oh, and speaking of bosses you don't want to see in free places, King Queen Evelyn in the first spot in Baron Inn. This seed is going to have a lot of meanness later on.
Yeah, no kidding. We talked about how with you know, this power of boss pool here that you want to see some of these bosses early, and that is not happening at all. Mom Bomb in the second spot, that's just rude. This has the potential to be a real pain of a seed here.
Mom Bomb in the second spot has lots of extra HP. It will hit hard here, although Mom Bomb does go slowly. So just a lot of HP to chew through. PlumeriaKnight missing with the assassin dagger on those Black Cats. And Black Cats, if you don't one-shot KO them, they do cast Bluster, which does charm a party member, as we saw earlier, but Cecil able to soak up a lot of this damage.
Bluster, one of my favorite mistranslations of Blaster. I'm a big fan of that one. Ooh, a little too hard of a punch there on Rosa.
Well, that's one way to end the charm effect.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the stone lands. PlumeriaKnight is out of the fight. Rose is not getting any XP, which is a little unfortunate. But... And McBain is through the Mom Bomb.
Yeah. He gets a rock. So
and not a party rock.
No, just a regular old rock. Could be a nice weapon for one of the party members, but with the Legend Sword, but we haven't seen a lot of forging in this seed, and it looks like the Baron Key is going to be required for underground access.
Yep, seeming like that's the case. There's a light sword for sale if we wanted to give that to Cecil, but that is expensive and not the best piece of equipment for him, but probably the best piece of equipment we've seen so far this seed.
McBain rocking a flame sword on, or a fire sword on that Cecil, I believe. So we'll definitely be looking to upgrade. Does pick up both a rune axe and a light sword. So both the bros are ready to go. Illusions and Thor Rages for sale. Both items that have their uses, but we already have a pile of Thor Rages.
Yeah, illusions are very interesting and something I would want to keep in mind when you have got Cecil. Because, we've been talking about those cover strats, and illusions can be a phenomenal synergy with the cover strats. Because, you just blink up your Cecil, he covers all of your allies, and doesn't take any damage himself. So, something that you might want to keep in mind, pick up a couple just in case.
A nice pickup from the Baron Waterway, a Silk Web. Always nice to have one of those on hand. Really helpful in the Z fight, but if you have a boss in a tough spot, Silk Webs are always nice to just know that they're there. Cast slow a bunch of times.
Yeah, there's always that pit, or that feeling in the pit of your stomach if you go into Zeromus with that Silk Web. Never fun.
And McBain is going to tangle with that Antlion. Antlion not on the moon, instead being a lackey in Baron Castle. A little bit of a demotion for him.
He's going to be a little bit punchy here. Probably nothing this team can't handle, but big problem is going to be those counterattacks. Cannot be covered by Cecil, but even still, we got enough HP to get through this. This shouldn't be a problem.
No, and you're already seeing the upgrade that Light Sword provides over the Fire Sword. And Pella's helping.
He is indeed helping. Getting access to that virus spell, which at this point in the game is just good enough to remain viable for a little bit.
And McBain is through. PlumeriaKnight, meanwhile, has disposed of the family drama and is onto the Mom Bomb, who, if Mom Bomb has family drama, it plays out off screen.
Oh, hey!
It's the real King of Baron. A French Vanilla Odin. And speaking of Thor Rages,
I might see a couple of those here.
but this party putting out lots of damage from those extra levels gained in Evelyn Castle. So this spot is slow enough that shouldn't be an Odin attack, and in fact, he's crumbling away already.
Very, very quick work of Odin there by McBain. Very well done. Gonna get a peek inside the Baron bin, and we'll see if McBain wants to do some recon work and see what's waiting in the basement.
Yeah, and McBain will also get the chance to go to the escape room, see if the walls make it this time, or if somebody saves the day. It's so suspenseful. What's gonna do it? Ruby and a fallen soldier.
Love it. Little bit of disparity in power between those two. I think you're gonna have an asymmetrical room here.
I do like that the fallen soldier is basically like a doorstop. just lying down and stopping it with the sheer force of the laziness, or maybe.
Oh, and actually getting confirmation from Sal, that is actually a fallen Zemus sprite. It's a little bit more powerful than just a common soldier.
This cave has a bunch of dolls.
Yeah, and the Baron Bin having the hook means that is the end of our questing on the overworld, so we're going to have to make a play into the hook route here soon.
Yeah, we'll see what the Evelyn shop has for sale. But the dolls in the Mist Cave always makes me think of like a garage sale.
All these haunted dolls must go.
Another Aegis shield just lying around, by the way.
Yeah, if you want your Cecil to equip 2 of them, Final Fantasy III style, definitely a possibility here.
Yeah, and
or was that 2? No, that was 2. Excuse me.
Ooh, sirens and hourglasses in Evelyn shop, and the grind is taken care of, and everything must go.
Yeah, get as much cash as you can, buy as many of those as you need, because I've got to imagine the very second we step underground, we're going to be cracking some eggs and get this team some desperately needed experience.
And chat pointing out that McBain did not check the Baron basement. There aren't a ton of enemies that this party can face in that spot. It's a very high level spot, but there are a couple. But McBain didn't have a whole lot of J items to deal with, you know, a Dark Imps fight or something like that, and that is a potential vanilla ruby in the hook route.
Indeed, we won't be certain until we actually see the fight. Could be the elements, but yeah, that is it's an interesting spot there.
Nice ogre axe. If McBain does want to tangle with the mad ogres.
And McBain might. They're poking in a few chests here. I don't hate it. You've got those hourglasses, and you can easily take care of this fight, and it is a potential load of experience if man gets life glitches out.
And in addition to that ogre axe, a nice whistle fight. Whistles sell for a ton of GP. So that will fund your grinding implements. And PlumeriaKnight taking on the real king of Baron. McBain will discover that the Mad Ogres are in the last chest before the fight, which is always nice.
Yeah, I mean, to get a save beforehand, just in case anything goes wrong.
PlumeriaKnight is through and will get his hook at the end of the walk.
Yep, got to imagine PlumeriaKnight will be right on McBain's heels heading into the Underworld here. And McBain decided, no ogres after all. Oh, we'll just fight this. And there's a sparkle.
And that's required.
These Lunars. Not a terrible place to fight them. Not a huge amount of HP here. So this shouldn't be too bad. In fact, yeah, using some Cure 3 strats here, you'll love to see it.
D-Lunars are undead, which means curative items actually hurt them. So, heads up play. And remember, if you just use the fight command on both of these Lunars, they will counter with casting Wall on themselves and then bouncing Virus, which will lead to a very bad time.
Yeah, not something you want to get to if you can avoid it. Oh, a party change there. Tella is out for PlumeriaKnight.
longer necessary.
And very quick work of the D-Lunars here. McBain now on to Rubicante, or the Elements. Could be either. Curious if he is interested in a safety save or not here. Carrying up the party.
You get a full heal here.
You get a full heal. Oh, wants to go take the Mad Ogres on. Okay.
There we go.
That makes perfect sense.
And did want to full heal that Tella, going to try for stone strats, you would think.
Well, Tella's not in the middle, so stone strats are going to be a little bit painful. Curious? Yeah, it might just be want to Ogre X them down here.
Yeah, that'll take care of them and out. Will also allow for some life glitches. The one glitch that is actually still on the Red Moon flag. So, yep, no stone strats. There's a reason McBain doesn't take advice from me, you know?
Listen, the strength of these runners, they neither of them would be taking advice from me either, and I wouldn't expect them to.
No. But McBain is through. It turns out Mad Ogres not so mad when you stop them. It kind of stops them from being that. That's a bow.
Fluffy Mittens, the best weapon we have for Cecil is a lightsaber. Was for sale in Baron Town in the Locked Armory, and both of our runners picked it up. So both Cecils have that. And that is the Elements fight. That is not going to give us progress here.
A couple different strategies to deal with the elements at this spot. Don't have, like, Tella could reflect fire off of one of the parties to try to avoid the skip, and it looks like that's a possibility.
Yeah, setting up the reflect on Tella. Now, this is going to be very interesting because PlumeriaKnight dumped Tella back in the Tower of Wishes to pick Porum back up. Or no, I think already had Porum. I think they picked Sid back up, actually.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have access to that strategy.
No, we'll have to vanquish the elements the old-fashioned way by punching them a lot until they die.
So for those wondering, the reason this works is that the elements actually transition into their new form as a counterattack. And there is a hard rule in Final Fantasy IV that you cannot counterattack. So, and reflected spells, well, they're considered counterattacks. So if you reflect magic onto a boss that has an HP-based phase transition, such as this or Zeromus, they'll never actually make that transition.
Now, McBain did another interesting piece of strategy there, using the light sword as an item. What's going on there, Spade?
That allows you to pass Cecil's turn without taking the parry option. And the reason you would want to do that is Cecil cannot cover when he is in the parry stance. So if you want Cecil to pass his turn, but you do not want to attack, in this case, he didn't want Cecil to attack, because that could possibly interrupt the HP refill skip there. Using your item as using your weapon as an item lets you effectively just pass your turn. You're not doing anything, but he is still able to cover his allies there.
McBain is through the elements, a very well done reflect strat, and once again, Trap Chest having nothing for this party, just a Dragon Whip.
Yeah, this has been the trolliest trap chests. And the real Rubicante is on top of the tower.
Was that Rubicante pointing at Rubicante on top of the tower?
Yeah, it's a Spider-Man pointing meme. Just with a lot more leg.
So, we don't have any
power that from
yet.
Scala now. Conte pointing at each other.
Now, would they be pointing at each other with their big toes?
Oh, they might. I have to think this one through. There's potential here.
Keyless Tower could be a play with a required boss up there. Ruby at that spot. The magic and physical attack are not high, just has a ton of HP.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind. There's just so many bosses we're missing right now that I would want to hit those dense spots, and right there, immediately Dwarf Castle paying off with Golbez. Quick reset for McBain so that he can set up his team to avoid that hold gas.
Yeah, going to cast Piggy on the most important party members, and Mini on the magic users. And that will allow the hold gas not to take effect. So depending on who Golbez decides to spare in his mercy, McBain will be able to get a quick Star Veil off in order to reflect those magic spells, which are quite effective in this spot.
Yeah, this is one of those spots where in the vanilla game there's no magic used here, so of course it has a high magic stat because developers never figured to tune it properly since it was never a thing. So want to be careful here of those spells. Definitely set up Reflect as soon as you can.
Have you ever been to a dancing comedy show?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah, it's really two art forms that were not begging to be combined, but Golbez has always been a man who marches to the beat of his own drum. That's funny because he actually isn't. He's controlled by a greater force.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very good point.
PlumeriaKnight.
Not to be disappointed by their samurai bow.
Stella and Yang are spared this time. Probably not who you want to see, but going to take care of business anyway.
I love our restreamer ribbon quest with Golbez's burlesque show. I love the idea of a burlesque show in full plate armor.
Yes. It would be a long tease.
Yeah. You gotta have like 3 squires unhooking all your pauldrons.
It would be almost like a magic show where the assistants will have to like demonstrate and throw their arms up. Ooh, look. Just give you something to do.
It's a little bit of struggle here to get things stabilized on McBain's screen. But yeah, Virus hitting that reflect, that's exactly what he wants to see, get him some momentum going. And Golbez is down. Great job.
And, as with our discussion, Golbez just has one question, and that's why. But that is an objective, and that is 3 bosses down, with another accounted for.
Yep, and just as McBain gets through Golbez, PlumeriaKnight has gotten through the D-Lunars, so he's gotten up to 2 bosses.
And another boss in a spot where is wasted a little bit. The physical attack here, not threatening at all. And after 2 kicks, Cecil just has to hit him once. Young says ouch, and he goes away.
It doesn't matter if he's a pig, he's still a paladin.
Those are words to live by.
I feel like there's some deeper meaning in there somewhere.
Yes. It feels like that should be a line in, like, Babe, Pig in the City 5.
Right.
Even if you're a pig, you're still a paladin.
Babe has done some growing. We've got PlumeriaKnight having to slug through this the quote-unquote normal way. Not access to any of that reflect shenanigans.
Well, Luca sees the animal state that McBain's party is in and gives them a rat tail. I guess it's fitting. And Bacchus White's for sale. Ooh, PlumeriaKnight getting a real bad roll on that Grimoire. An Ifrit or Jin, which actually heals up Ruby. And Cecil cannot cast Exit while he's a pig, which is a line of dialogue in the beginning of Pig in the City 6.
Right.
If you're a pig, you cannot cast Exit.
Correct. I believe that was a parable from Socrates, actually. Just ancient wisdom.
Oh boy, a full party glare on PlumeriaKnight's side.
Oof. You can see just how much rougher this fight is, having to do it this way rather than just skipping through on the Mylon part.
McBain going down into the Sylph Cave to do that pan check.
Yeah, just get this done here because there is so much potential on the table here.
Bing!
Love that sound effect. Oh, Party Rock is in the Sylph Cave tonight.
Everybody's gonna have a good time. 2 more boss spots that can be checked. Technically, one of them is already available. But, you know, this party might be interested in going for a jaunt through the treasury.
PlumeriaKnight is through at the 47-minute mark, breaks into the underground. Well fought by PlumeriaKnight. And
yes.
We'll see how he decides to route down here.
We'll see if he can avoid the pitfall. It's a tough one. And while our runners are making some jaunts, do want to thank our restreamer, Ribbon Quest, for rolling this really fascinating seed so far. A nice Zeus Gauntlet for McBain. Not a key item, though. Do want to thank our tracker, Darth Plagle, for keeping track of everything. And thank you to Smapty, really dropping the knowledge and dropping the fan art potential here on Free Enterprise.
I'm an ideas guy. What can I say?
You got to give the people what they want. So McBain kind of low on life potions, if you ask me. Only has a couple of them left. I don't know if we've seen them for sale.
Yeah, not something I'm usually paying too close attention to, but I don't think that we've seen any for sale. That being said, we hardly checked every shop on the Overworld. So. Oh, PlumeriaKnight immediately wants to cash that pan in.
Yeah, we'll get a party rock right away. McBain going to check the Fey March bosses. Some of the required bosses down here could have tremendous potential. Nothing required. One is potentially free.
Yep, just have to buy enough time to get that hourglass out.
Ashura has swapped spots for this one.
It is out. Let's see if we have a queued up attack here.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, we're good.
Yep, the rest of this is academic. Attack, he yells, ineffectually. And PlumeriaKnight immediately going to finish that pan chain.
Gets the weak on the officer, but unfortunately not able to go life potion after the glitch. Not an enormous amount of experience here, but every bit counts at this point.
Yeah. If there's one enemy to get a life potion off, it is that officer who has the lion's share of the XP for this spot.
And very, very easily done there by McBain, keeping Tell on the ground, since he is basically anchor fodder at this point. just a ribbon. Good piece of kit, but probably nothing you wanted to spend that much time getting. Was that a darkness crystal by Sheila?
Sure was. And a twin harp. Sheila's got the goods.
Ooh.
Also, how
That
dare
is,
you say just a ribbon with our wonderful
You know,
restreamer
yeah,
ribbon.
I all apologies. Excuse me. I am so sorry.
We'll see who
Ribbon
McBain
is a
wants to make pretty.
fantastic piece of kit with all the status blocking and magic defense that it offers.
And it makes your character pretty.
It
no
does.
matter who it goes on.
Absolutely pretty. Just brings out their inner charm.
So, the Pan Chain turns into Earth Crystal, Darkness Crystal, Twin Harp. Just absolute value. And PlumeriaKnight immediately going to Troya and is going to make that treasury check.
Here we go. Everyone's favorite game.
Great! That's treasury!
Everyone's favorite secondary treasury.
It's not my favorite.
Zeus
Another
Gauntlet,
Zeus
not
Gauntlet.
bad.
Looking for one thing
New
here.
Equipment.
Another ninja sword.
Defense sword isn't horrible.
No. But otherwise disappointing.
Yeah.
PlumeriaKnight will enjoy that Zeus Gauntlet right away. That'll be McBain's second.
Yeah, probably the biggest pickup there. PlumeriaKnight says wants to be the hero of the people. Gonna make that harp check before going into Zot. Grabs the wrong chocobo.
Maybe this is going to be the day that a yellow chocobo can fly.
Maybe.
But does not want to find out. I love the chaining from PlumeriaKnight. Twin Harp into Earth Crystal is just one of the best little chains you can do. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, one of those cool little routing bonuses you get there. Oh, that's the real gauntlet here in the Magasister spot.
This is a little fun spot for a gauntlet. Should not be difficult, but you get to see some fun sprites here.
Hope you like pudding.
It's the slime oozing out from your TV set. PlumeriaKnight, meanwhile, is heading down into the Cave Magnus. Will play the music. Will definitely be hoping for value. Has to know this is a risk and a little bit of a check, but skipped the Dark Elf script completely. A very heads up there. That's why you do the Cave Magnus after you do the hand check, because your people are already at very low HP. Take care of it.
Cheap.
Hey, it's music time.
Okay, I'm gonna check on that because I have no idea what that was.
Yeah. It sounds so familiar to me, but I cannot place it.
Right, it triggers a nostalgia that I might not actually have, and PlumeriaKnight not interested.
Nope. But PlumeriaKnight does get the package from Twin Heart. I can't ditch that. Really, it is another boss check. Meanwhile, after facing the gauntlet in the front spot, facing Ogopogo at the top of Tower of Zot. Tower of Zot absolutely necessary.
Yep, and it looks like PlumeriaKnight is headed there right now, so good news for him. He's not going to be falling terribly behind McBain here. Going to get that required Zot, and all of a sudden we've kind of shot up in bosses a little bit.
Yeah. And suddenly, with Darkness Crystal on the table, the end game is looming very close.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Ribbon Quest in chat. I feel like the Odin Throne is absolutely the play now. McBain under there. Oh, sad Ruby.
Well, if you're really desperate for a free heal...
Yeah, that is... You have to be really desperate for a free heal.
And, yeah, the reason that that the Odin Throne is such a good play here is because you're right there.
Yeah.
The Tower of Zot drops you off right at Baron. You're right here. You can complete this chain. PlumeriaKnight will feel like really big-brained about it.
If this is a required boss, this would get very interesting very fast. Just a DKC, and McBain not interested in fighting that.
Knight Cecil, the true King of Baron? So what are the noises coming from the basement if Dark Knight Cecil's down there?
Probably like edgelord emo muttering. my blade is my only friend. I hug it in the darkness when the blood courses through my cold veins.
Oh, my pizza rolls are ready.
Oh, excellent. These are the pizza rolls of darkness. I cooked them at 550 degrees for 7 hours. They are charred black like my heart. So that is every Dark Knight role playing online. If you ever go into Limbs of Lemons, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, McBain is going to complete the pan check. Also left the hovercraft outside for a rat tail check. We'll see if even he wants to check that rat tail or if it's immediately off to the moon for him.
Yeah, McBain's done a little bit more of routing here than PlumeriaKnight, and with that 5 to 7 bosses, I would be so tempted to go right to the moon and gamble on there being 2 up there.
And McBain does pick up both the Twin Harp and the Darkness Crystal, and I am counting, and that's 10 key items for McBain. Double EXP.
Yeah, that's huge. Even more incentive to head up to that moon. You got the hourglasses, grab a couple of them. King Ryu fights, freeze them up, and get a ton of XP from them.
So the hovercraft can go on the beaches, but cannot go through the forest.
That's just asking too much.
Exactly. And just an ogre axe from the rat tail.
Oof.
Just, the treasure setting on Red Moon is T Pro, but this is a real pro T Pro.
Can we just give a big shout out to early 90s translators? I have to guess that the word they were trying to get in there was swordswoman, but with the character limit, Epee Girl is such a perfectly clever attempt to shorten that word. I love that so much. One of my favorite monsters in this game.
Yes. Epe Girl sounds like a sounds like an AOL Instant Messenger screen name. If you put a couple numbers at the end.
It's like an
I'm
early, like an early blogger or like
Yeah.
like a video blogger.
Yeah, well, how
This
did you
is Epic
choose?
Girl 92? Yeah, exactly.
How did you choose your screen name? Well, I like fencing and I'm a girl. Epe Girl. But PlumeriaKnight dispatches them, sends, gives the AOL Instant Messenger door closing sound to Epe Girl. Ba-thunk. And McBain making the Luca cave check, the sealed cave check. The nice thing about this check, it's not as long as you think it would be. Once you actually turn encounters off and don't have to fight through every single trapdoor, sealed cave doesn't have as much to it. You can check the key item, and if you don't like that, which you won't,
It's not
and
like
if
that.
you don't like the boss, you just reset. PlumeriaKnight going to discover the Ogopogo at the top of the tower. The piggy meta maybe informing him that a sparkle is potential, but yeah, that means all the sparkles have been, all the sparkles that are required have been accounted for. Any further sparkles are not what we're looking for.
We are not. Speaking of not what we're looking for, that is a huge zonk in the sealed cave. Asura as the item and a Dimps for the fight. Nothing we need there. So McBain says, hey, let's get a reprise of this music no one can identify.
McBain showing the dangers of double parking. The Troyan authorities are very militant about it. They will tow your car.
Scala dropping some knowledge on us. Lady Garter and Soldieress in later English versions. I like that. I like Soldieress. I've never heard that used before. I like that.
Yeah. Maybe the only more rad name I can think of is like Murderess. Soldieress. we have to make sure that you know that the person who is wearing all this armor is female.
They're very important that we make their gender distinct here.
PlumeriaKnight is through that noodle of some nopeness.
And yeah, Scala is absolutely right. That is absolutely not an epee. I just have to imagine that like whoever made that translation is just looking at a thesaurus of words for sword and
What's a 4-letter word for sword? Can't do a saber. Maybe could do foil, but that's not even a foil.
Right. Oh, believe me, my partner used to be a fencer, and I used the word foil incorrectly once, and they have not let me live it down.
McBain does have to go through the entire Dark Elf script. PlumeriaKnight going to check the basement and find this weird guy down there.
You see if PlumeriaKnight is interested in fishing for a key? Absolutely not. I think
No.
that fight was up there for one frame at most.
Yeah. PlumeriaKnight says, this is too much pain. Anyway, let's have a reprise of this beautiful music. We do have an ID on the song from, and thanks chat. It is Thieves Bazaar from Lunar Silver Star Story.
Yeah, big shout out to RPG Chick and Candy Confused for finally getting us an ID on that.
PlumeriaKnight has had enough of being low-leveled. It's going to do something about it, and namely eat a lot of eggs.
Yeah, don't blame him one bit. This has just been a I don't know if I call it a struggle party exactly, but it hasn't exactly been a cakewalk.
Oh, and now's a good time to do it because the moon is open to you. Get your levels however you can, and so you can take care of whatever is awaiting you on the moon. We have some really obnoxious required bosses still out there that could be on the moon or giant. Ruby, Kainatsu, Magus Sisters at those spots would not be pleasant at all.
Speaking of Ruby, giving us a little dance here before he sets the Village of Mist on fire.
We know where Ruby is. Ruby's at the top of the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So, wrong place for Ruby in the package sprite. Should be in the Kaipo Inn instead of burning down the place. We do not get credit.
He's a powerful sorcerer. He can be in two places at once if he wants to be. Actually, no, I take that back. He's only a mage in the elements fight.
And Kane actually got off an attack on the pig. Very rude.
Burned down the village, hit it with a spear. Gosh, just insult to injury.
Really is. And PlumeriaKnight continuing to take care of those sirens. See how high he wants to level his white mages, if he wants to get them both to white.
Yeah, I'll be. We were talking about this earlier about taking both white mages here, and I'm really interested to see if PlumeriaKnight is thinking mage strats here or not. If he wants to take them all the way to white, it's white has a casting time on it, so it's not ideal compared to something like Nuke. But if you're worried about your power and you want to make it a quick fight, that's still on the table.
And McBain will have his pig in a blanket.
Nice. I like that. And a sparkle, we know that's not useful.
And he's good. And McBain was doing the math and like, oh yeah, I've already done all my sparkles. Don't care.
Yep. You could see, you could practically see the wheels turning in McBain's head as the realization dawned that this is not useful.
McBain gonna go summon that whale.
See, now this is a little interesting because we know Rubicante's at the top of the tower. I'd be tempted to just take care of Rubicante now, and then go to the moon, knowing that I only had one boss to find up there.
That was quite a while ago for McBain. Wonder if McBain remembers that Ruby is there. It's an easy check to forget about.
100%, especially since we've seen that Rubicante sprite like everywhere this season.
Yeah,
it is very
really
easy to get discombobulated.
Yeah, Ruby was in Baron Castle, in Village Mist, in the Hook Route. The Ruby sprite has just been all over. It's kind of been this seed's mascot.
And McBain is headed to the moon.
So, Smapty, what's your kind of preference when you have two bosses remaining on the moon? Are you in full face check mode? Are you taking some winnable fights even if they're not required? What's kind of your strategy here?
I mean, in situations like this is where I really struggle as a runner, because I get super paranoid. I get super anxious about leaving a key item behind that I'm going to absolutely need. In this case, the tower key is honestly the only thing that limits it, so that I might be a little bit more eager to do face check mode, but even then I'm still taking, I think if it's me, I'm still taking free bosses. These runners probably a little more confident in that, probably just face check and already paying off. That's Mega Sisters. That's another boss we need.
Possumorpheus in chat saying that that maybe we're wrong, that Evil Wall's actually at the top of the tower, which would really change the calculus if that's true.
Oh my gosh, was I looking in? Were we looking inside the orb? Were we too busy pondering the orb to see the actual boss?
It's possible. Both runners did make really quick checks of it, so if that's the case, I apologize. But yeah. And PlumeriaKnight going to go through this dwarf castle, get that required Golbez, get that rat tail. We'll see if that leads a PlumeriaKnight anywhere except for the moon as well.
Ooh, that Runax damage on Mindy there.
Love to see it. So this spot, extremely punchy, but there is value in K Bahamut.
Yep, absolutely. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry about the delta attack so much.
Yeah, that is the nice part. The magic, not anything to write home about. But 6,000 damage to the sister in the front row from that Runax. And I believe that's
look at the video! Let's go, Tella!
Chekhov's Soma drop paying off.
Paid off big. Yeah, Cindy goes down. No revival here. Very quick work of that fight with McBain. Just everything lined up well there. And McBain using that Meteor does get Tella some levels. In a perfect world, Tella would be down for that, but I think he'll take that just fine. And the sisters are your worst neighbor on Halloween, just giving us an apple. Probably a worm in it, too.
I didn't know the Mega Sisters were like hippie dentists, but there they are.
They have to moonlight. Magicing doesn't pay off nearly as much as it used to.
PlumeriaKnight gonna try and get through this Golbez without using Star Veils, and yeah, Golbez is weak to Holy, because Golbez is evil, and that Light Sword really put a hurting on it.
Yeah, a little bit of sibling rivalry right there as Cecil puts his brother down. Spoilers. And is through that fight.
You gotta let them deal with their own conflicts.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Boys will be boys.
McBain did take a couple of King Ryus to get just a couple more levels, but now McBain at 6 bosses and will be in full face check mode in the Lunar Subterrain.
Yeah, really just a ton of momentum built up on McBain's part right here. This is still a race. Anything can happen, but McBain's certainly in the driver's seat at this point.
Yeah, very much so. Unless there is a big play to be made somewhere on the blue planet or under the blue planet, which isn't likely, but it's possible. There's still one key item that guards a boss. So McBain will certainly find what he needs either on the moon or on the giant.
Correct. And assuming we were wrong about that Rubicante on top of tower, the required giant is still a possibility.
Yeah, could be both bosses on the giant. The bosses have kind of clustered up a little bit in this scene. 2 required bosses in Zot. There could be 2 required bosses on the giant too.
PlumeriaKnight heading back to the Fey March. I'm trying to remember if there was anything there the need, or is this indeed his first trip there?
PlumeriaKnight has not made the trip down to the Fey March. We'll find Ashura and the Kaipo guards down there.
Nothing interesting to take on. Might take on the guards just because it's a relatively free fight, but there was nothing rewarding behind them.
Octomam in the Murasame altar. No thanks.
Yeah, a little bit of a hesitation there. Wonder if McBain was considering just taking it because it's a straightforward fight. But honestly, yeah, no, not any real value there.
Yeah, McBain considering, do I want calamari? Probably need some more marinara.
Pasta Morpheus, absolutely accurate in chat. Chat wants 65k of the hurdle turtle into the Rubicante on the giant. That would definitely be the way to finish this seed.
Just obnoxiousness. Kainatsu at the element spot is real rude.
Yeah, so much HP there, and of course that tidal wave that he does, the damage is based on how much HP he has remaining. So unless you can get a huge burst out on him early, yeah, you're in for a world of pain.
And our tracker Darth Plagal reporting that PlumeriaKnight might not have even gotten a rat tail from Luca. Might have just walked out. I don't know if that's possible, but he doesn't have it on his tracker. So we'll see. McBain heading up to the Crystal Sword altar. It would be a really interesting spot to find Ruby, probably rooting for that at this point. Ruby at the Crystal Sword altar, the magic attacks would not be threatening at all.
McBain going to go check this spot while PlumeriaKnight is going to raise his big whale. Oh, there's Go Mode.
Yeah, that is a turtle. And this is a very punchy turtle.
Yeah, this won't be fun. Certainly doable. Might want to be a little bit careful here and try to get those waves down.
Yeah, the waves are based on his HP, so even though the magic level at the spot is low, they're still going to do a lot of damage. And you can survive one just fine, but they may wash over you.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be relatively under control as long as Rosa is able to keep those Cure 4s flying.
Yeah, not even bothering to try to stem the gathering of the water. McBain has this under control.
Will not be ending this fight all wet.
I'm not so ashamed hiding inside the shell. You know, I know those feels.
Oh god, mood and a half right there.
And there's Yang punching the turtle. Yang is also here.
You know, we say that, but he's going to be have a very, very useful role in this last boss. Not only can he do relatively decent damage, he's going to have enough HP to survive big bangs easily and throw items around as necessary. Never underestimate the power of a chemist in the Zeromus fight.
Siren if you need another one.
What is with these loot rewards in this scene? It's been bizarre.
Yeah. Just weird. All right,
And
PlumeriaKnight
update from Darth Plague. PK did exit out of Dwarf Castle, so did not pick up the Rat Tail. Very interesting.
Yeah. And doesn't need a key item. Rat Tail doesn't lead to anything. He does have 10 key items.
Yeah, it's in the end doesn't really mean too much, but it's just it's curious. You don't often see that.
So McBain does have his crystal, going to use that siren. You know, when life hands you lemons, throw them at somebody. That's what I say. Do want to welcome in the Raiders coming to us from Sorbius' stream. McBain has his crystal. McBain is in the lead at this point, but PlumeriaKnight in the right place on the moon will get to his 7 bosses fairly quickly, so it's still anybody's race.
Yeah, even though it is likely McBain is going to be going into the Z fight first, that by no means means he's running away with this. PlumeriaKnight might be setting up for a mage style start here, which will lead to a much quicker Zeromus fight. And any wipe by either of these runners can completely change the momentum. So this is going to be a sprint to the finish.
He did learn white on Rosa, and that appears to be what he was waiting for. And he is heading down to the bottom of the Lunar Subterrain.
It is one walk of glory from McBain away from going into the Zeromus fight. Going to look like relatively standard strategy here from McBain. We're going to see some melee damage coming out from those frontline fighters, some support from Rosa, Tella serving as an anchor. This is going to be a sort of a tried and true strategy we've seen from a lot of runners here.
Yeah, Rosa will be the main healer, may even throw in a white or two, but most of the damage is going to be coming from the pointy swords and pointy claws. And so
there is Fluffy Mittens finally. Gosh, I was waiting. I didn't want to I didn't want to have to prime chat for this because they're usually good about doing it themselves. But we waited till halfway through the Lunar Core to get a Z flag this time.
I think they just want to be fashionably late with it. Like you don't want to raise that flag too early.
That's fair. I mean, it is Sunday. Like it's relaxed. Yeah. Everyone wants to. No one wants to work too hard on a Sunday. So, what's the significance of that Z flag?
Well, Zeromus can't go anywhere. Zeromus is always going to be at the bottom of the Lunar Core. He's just too big, too bad, too smelly to go anywhere else. So, we do still have to randomize him some way, and the way we randomize him is to give him a random sprite. And so, we fight a different Zeromus every time, and that leads us to ask a question, Smakety, which I would be delighted if you could.
Whose butt are we gonna kick this afternoon?
In the name of the blue moon, or red moon, he's sending whom to their doom this afternoon?
Okay, you said the wrong moon, which leads to gloom.
What a buffoon.
Please get out of the comms room. No, please stay. We need you here. We need your excellent analysis on this fight.
Imagine B-movie still alive and with us today.
It's Final Fantasy IV, but every time they say B, it gets 10% faster. It becomes a 10% faster speed run. Oh, there's a story. Oh, please regale us, Scala. Sprite. It's making me like what if there was a universe where there's a licensed SNES game for B-movie?
Yeah, it's definitely a world I would rather be living in.
Yeah. Do you like Big Bang?
Well, this
Alright, so by all known laws of aviation, Zeromus should not be able to go very fast here because Tella is limiting his relative agility. But Starfield going for Tella. We might see some reflected whites here.
Yeah. Zeromus creating a lot of buzz here. But most of the activity coming from those Zerkers. PlumeriaKnight, meanwhile, going to lose a bit of time here unless Ruby shows up in one of these spots, heading to the bottom of the Lunar Subterrain instead of the Crystal Sword Altar.
Yeah, that is the wrong fiend there.
That would be an obnoxious Val fight without a Kane, but PlumeriaKnight does not have to deal with it.
Hey, there's Rubicante Moon,
okay.
Very much vaunted tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is still a race. Just needs to get through this fight, and if McBain happens to wipe at any point during this fight, PlumeriaKnight is right back in this. So this is very, very crucial that McBain keeps things steady here. Here's the Big Bang. Rose at 2100. Don't want to get a high roll on her. That's going to be the big thing we're worried about. And yeah, she is just fine. Got that life staff, lots of will there to help protect against those high rolls.
Very kind roll, and Rosa doing her part. Will be able to cure for everybody, and McBain's got to be breathing a sigh of relief there.
Scala, I think you just created a new Z sprite accidentally with B Zemus.
So Scala Kitty, our art director, telling us in chat, Z was dared to put this into the game by the folks at Power Up with Pride after a dramatic reading stream, which, you know, now I have to hear that dramatic reading. Is that a dramatic reading of the B-movie script? Because that would be incredible.
All right, there's the shake, getting ready for another Big Bang here.
PlumeriaKnight carving through that leg, so it's Thanksgiving already.
All right, here we go, another Big Bang. This one will not be nerfed as well. Rosa almost at full HP. That's the health you want to look at, and just fine again, just 1500. So yeah, very, very smooth going so far from McBain.
And should be coming up onto the final phase shortly. Doesn't even get the Wombo combo, so McBain in control right now.
Yeah, always want to be concerned about that timing. You never want to get that Big Bang pushed directly into Medio because that can lead to disaster. Can't get your cures out enough. Everything's staggered just properly here from McBain, so the phase push should not be too much of an issue if he gets a cure shortly.
And what weapon does Kane have on him? Not doing a whole lot.
I think he's still got that Gugnir, if memory serves.
Yeah. And in the back row, Gugnir is not a long-range weapon, so only doing about 900 or so damage a swing from that back row.
Yeah,
PlumeriaKnight does get the script ending.
Yeah, and since you just you need Tella in that middle spot to serve as an anchor, there's just no room on that front line for Kane.
Bane going to top off, and rocks are falling.
That means we are in the final phase. There is less than 12,000 HP to go. Our Berserkers are carving through it. McBain is on the verge of advancing to the best of 3 rounds in the Red Moon bracket. Down goes Zeromus. McBain has done it. GG's to McBain. We're going to have a Simpsons showdown next week.
McBain advances to face Rex Banner in the 6th round of the Red Moon Waning bracket. McBain has done it, and we are joined by our race winner today, McBain. GG's.
Thank you.
Yeah, GG's indeed. Got to ask you about how you felt about the party here, starting off and sort of going through the seed. Not a tremendous amount of power, but you really made do with what you had. What were sort of your feelings on that party composition?
I think it was a pretty good, considering the gear I had everything for every situation. So really liked it. That I mean, normally I 3 lurkers and Nutella. It's weird, but King can jump in situations. So I was like, okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, not much room for Kane in that front line we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was an interesting seed in the sense that there wasn't much loot to be found anywhere, really. How did you kind of deal with that party composition you had?
Well, I found out the right thing to sell, I guess, because I could find I bought a rune axe early and a lightsaber. I found a good near somewhere. So, and Young doesn't need anything, and I got a Thunder's Claw for him. So really, my Zerkers were good, and I got a ribbon from Paymage Boss, I think. So it helped, I guess.
There were a number of just sort of checks that really didn't pan out. Didn't really give you anything. Was at any point the fear manifesting that you were falling behind just because of the zonks you were running into, or were you more considering, well, my opponent's probably going to make these same decisions? So, like, what was kind of going through your mind in regards to that?
I didn't feel good at all. It's something I hate to do, Twin Harp, and I don't know why I do it in tournaments when I don't, when it's not tournament. But once I was committed in Twin Harp and I got the package, I was like, well, I committed at the time, so I might as well keep going for the package. And then it was nothing there, so didn't feel good at all. That at that point I felt a little behind. I said, hopefully he's doing the same thing or similar, or just skipping one. I don't know.
And the Twin Harp did not pay out, but the Tower of Zot was hard required. What did you think of the placement of that gauntlet in Ogopogo?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I had everything to get through it quite fast. I mean, with no real mage, still could add all the item I needed to basically one-shot all the fights except one. So it wasn't too bad. And Ogo there wasn't a problem with my levels. So I was pretty happy to see both of them there.
Yeah, you handled everything beautifully. Just fantastic run all throughout. You have now advanced to the point where it's going to be best of 3s from here on out. You're going to be fighting fellow Simpsons reference Rex Banner next week. How are you feeling? Is there a little bit of edge off now that it's not just one and done, or what are sort of your thoughts on the rest of the tournament going forward?
It's weird because sometimes one game, when you win, you win. It's over. You can't. No one can get back. But I really like the 2 out of 3 because I want to race more. But sometimes it's like, oh, if you gamble too much on the one game, it's something. It gets me very nervous.
Well, you and Rex Banner have quite a history together in tournaments. How are you feeling about your overall play and how Rex Banner has been looking so far?
He's been doing great. I mean, he's here for a reason, really. He's a good player. He's a good runner, and like you said, we have a history, and it's always fun to get revenge on other things that happened before, or get more ties. I don't know.
Don't say it. Do not speak it into existence.
Too late.
Well, yeah, your play is certainly certainly at the level that you would be a match for just about anybody. So that best of 3 round against Rex Banner next week is going to be appointment viewing. So, Smapty, any other questions for our winner, McBain?
No, just thanks so much for coming out and putting on a fantastic show. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Can't wait to watch the rest of your matches.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the commentary. I can't wait to watch this one again. Gonna be fun.
GG's once again, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
And PlumeriaKnight tangling with his B in really good shape to finish this off.
Very similar in levels here to what we saw on McBain, so everything should be relatively smooth here. Very survivable. That Porum, of course, in the danger zone as far as HP goes for big bangs, but Porum not necessary to finish this when you've got Rosa as well. And Rosa is very, very tanky here with 2,400 HP total. In fact, yeah, there down goes Porum.
Goodbye. But Rosa surviving that big bang with 1,000 HP to spare, so you always love to see that.
Yeah, and both these runners grabbed that life staff in Evelyn Castle, which wasn't the most exciting thing, but the amount of willpower that it gives and magic defense makes Rosa much, much safer in this final fight. Speaking of safe, we are in the final phase. The meteors are dropping. Just a few swipes left here from PlumeriaKnight, and he will have finished this seed as well.
And PlumeriaKnight has done it, coming in second place with a time of 1:33.26. So GG's to PlumeriaKnight.
Yeah, GG's indeed. As our restreamer is pointing out, we've had a few lag issues here with PlumeriaKnight stream, so yeah, this was a much closer race than it might have showed up on screen. We do apologize for that. But yeah, just less than 3 minutes between our runners. Just one heck of a race. And we are joined with PlumeriaKnight. PlumeriaKnight, GG, congratulations on your finish. Really well raced here today.
Oh, thanks. It was not too bad.
Yeah, this was a seed where you really had to scrape for everything you could come out of. What do you think of seeds like that, and how do you think you did with that?
I really like those kinds of seeds. The the kind of the tier 5 Zerking seeds. I think they're the most interesting. I've gotten a lot better with my Z fights with them. I think I over-leveled a little bit today, just because I wanted Cure 4 on Porum. And in the end, I think I kind of appreciated that for the Rubicant fight. So not too bad in the end. I think I probably over-looted as well, searching for, the big stick for Cecil. So it'll be interesting to see if McBain and I did kind of the similar things, or, ultimately what the difference was.
Yeah, you did route similarly in a lot of ways. Both of you went to Evelyn Castle, for example, before going to Baron to clear that out. A really disappointing Evelyn Castle. I know both of you wanted something for Cecil.
Yeah, I think that was T-Pro 100%. Not generous at all.
A pro's pro.
Yeah.
Sort of speaking on that, there was a lot of character swapping here, especially early on in the seed. What was kind of your strategy going on? We saw it from both of you. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on sort of party composition and how you were feeling about it.
Well, early game, Sid was the bruiser. He was the way through the seed. And, long term, the party seemed pretty clear to me. 2 white mages, 2 Zerkers, and an anchor. Once I got the Dwarf Axe, it was pretty clear that, Sid would be the anchor instead of Tella. That way I could clear through Eblin more easily. And then, but I also I needed to get Porum some XP because she needs to get Berserk early. And so that's why I dumped Cecil for her early so that I could keep Sid and Tella in the party at the time.
Yeah, really like to see that, just because they're taking advantage of characters when they're powerful and holding off on other characters. That was we mentioned on stream that everyone seems to get so caught up in the long term that they forget you need to get through something now. So it was really nice to see you take advantage of characters when you could.
Seeing the Ruby sprite, I think Tella would have been the better choice. Probably bring him in instead of Jan. And then, an RA4 Tella in slot 5 gets through either fight really easily. So I think that's probably the only optimization I do. And then I can pick up Yang or Kane later, depending on what gear I find.
Well, you had a very nice tournament run, but unfortunately it does end today. What are you going to take away from the tournament overall and from your play in it, which was at a very high level?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really pleased with how far I went. It had to end sometime. It's just there's too many good players, and it's too much of it's too far against the odds to just keep winning, right? So I had to lose at some point, but I'm really pleased with how far I made it, and I think I learned quite a lot about how I play and how to play better. So. And the flags were really fun, so I enjoyed the tournament.
That's awesome to hear. I mean, you did fantastic, and just like you said, the caliber of player you now stand amongst is just absolutely incredible. So phenomenal showing. You're definitely one of the greats in the game, and it is a pleasure getting to see you compete. So thank you so much, PlumeriaKnight.
Well, you flatter me, but thank you.
Yes, thanks for being broadcast today, and GG's once again.
All right, GG to McBain. Good luck the rest of the way, and thank you so much for the restream.
Take care, PlumeriaKnight.
Take care.
Well, that wraps it up for now, but we are not done with Free Enterprise yet. We have got one more race on the docket for you today. That is going to be at 10:30 tonight, Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, or Eastern Time, whatever Eastern Time we're in. That is going to be Tekker Smash versus Mike 34. That is going to be right here on Free Enterprise Prime, so definitely check that out.
Yeah, I do want to thank our restreamer Ribbon Quest, our tracker Darth Plagal, who really went above and beyond today, clocking PlumeriaKnight's heads-up play to save a few seconds in the Dwarf Castle, as well as clicking all the buttons. And thank you, Smapty. This is a lot of fun, as always.
Absolutely. Been an absolute blast being in the booth with you here, Sheep Launcher. Had so much fun. We're going to send you over to Wild Roger 2022. They're going to be playing some Free Enterprise, so definitely show them some love. And we hope to see you back here tonight for tonight's race. Take care, everybody.
So long.